So let's record so that if anything, you can still review listening to the recording. I can upload it on under YouTube, then you can download it. Okay, are we able to see the screen? Okay. So we'll go back to these questions if we will have time. Let's go to question 6. Unfortunately, this paper, I only received this part. So I don't know what the top part was, but they wanted you to define and identify merge and bust activities in project management. Okay. I think you will bear with me. This idea of teaching people that are not seen, you may be talking to yourself who have gone to the market to buy ice blocks.
We are around.
I hope you'll be honest enough to be around forever and ever. So let's look at how we define and identify merge and bust activities.
Yes.
I'm sure by now you are able to know what examiner is looking for when he says define and when he says discuss. So here we are interested in the definition. Once you define, that is enough, and mostly it carries 2 marks.
Okay.
So a bust activity is an activity that is a predecessor to more than one activity.
Okay.
Now, in project management, I would give an example of if, for instance, you are constructing a house, you cannot put a roof unless you do the superstructure. So the superstructure is the predecessor activity or task,
Okay.
and the roof is the successor task.
Okay.
So a bust is an activity that is a predecessor. So this is an activity that should be done before the next 2 or 3 activities can be done. That is a bust activity. So once you identify it, and once you define it, you have to go to the project network and be able to identify which one is a bust activity, which we are going to look at later. Then a merge activity is the opposite of a bust activity. Then automatically, this is the success activity. That is a merge activity. Unless otherwise, we can proceed to look at the project network. This is a rough draw, but what you had in the question looked like this one. You bear with me. This is the rough diagram that I can do. So if you look at this diagram, you have these activities A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J. Now, we need to identify the bust activity. If you look at the first activity to be done is A. meaning activity B, C, and D cannot start unless you complete activity A. So it is worthy to say activity A is the best activity. And then these B, C, D are merge activities. Any problem?
No.
Okay.
Understood.
If that is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so meaning these three here are major activities, and this is a burst activity. But when you come to this level again, you'll find that activity F cannot commence unless activity C is done, or activity B is done, or activity E is done. So again, activity F becomes a merge activity, whilst B at this point now becomes the burst activity. Are we together?
Yes.
So that's that. So one activity can be a burst activity, and it can also be a merge activity, depending on at what stage you are. Okay. Now, in this project, if you look at this project, you will find that if I want to go to J, I'm sure you are able to see where my cursor is. This is where J is.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So if I want to go to get to J, I have got various routes that I can use. I can start from A, I can move to B, then move to F, and move to I, then I reach J. That is route number 1. So I can again start from A, I can go to B. Then from B, I'll do task F. Having done task F, I can do task G. Then I'll finally do task J. That is another route. There's another route. I can move from A, go to B, move to F, move to H, then move to I, and then I move to J. That is route number 3. Can I have somebody to identify another route? I have done 3 routes here. It seems that I'm talking alone. Which other routes can we use to get to J? Hello, are we there? Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Laptop yasu ya chitika. The laptop is not in good order, Zima.
Those are the challenges of online learning, friends.
Yes.
Okay. So are we able to continue?
Yes.
But the question still stands. I was asking which other routes can we now use?
The fourth route,
Yeah, the fourth route.
because we have used.
We want to get to J.
Yes.
Yeah.
From A,
Yes.
we go to D.
D. Yes.
Then from D, we go to E.
Yes.
E.
This is E. Yes.
Then we go to F.
F. Yes.
Then we go to F. Then go to I.
From F we go to I.
But 3. Then we reach J. Then we reach J.
Okay. From F we go to where?
To I.
Okay. From F we go to I. Yes. Then we reach J. Okay. Any other route? The fifth route?
Yes. From A. Fifth route is the straight one.
The straight one, yes.
The direct one.
Yes, you are correct. Then the sixth route?
I.
The sixth is this one. From A to D.
Yes.
You following, sir?
Yes, D.
From D to E.
To E, yes.
Then to E. Then we go to F.
Yes. Then from F.
F.
Then
Then H.
H, yes.
Then to I.
Yes. Then to J. Thank you very much. So those are the routes that you are able to identify. Now, if you have this paper, there's a person that wanted you to identify the critical path. Now, in project management, a critical path is the longest route that you are able to take. So you are supposed to calculate from A to B, how many months or days do you need? Then from there to here, how many until you reach J? So these are the routes and the duration. A to B, B to F, F to I to J. You are spending these months. So at the end of it all, if you use this route, you need 24 months. Are you getting me?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. So if you use this route, you need 28 months. If you use this route, you need 29 months. So at the end of it all, the longest route is where you spend 32 months. And this route is what is called the critical path. So the critical path is the longest route that you take in a project. Any problem?
No.
So far, so good.
Thank you. So once we identify the critical path, then we can start struggling now with other issues. You want to calculate the earliest start time and the earliest finishing time. And you are supposed to calculate the earliest or the latest start time and the latest finishing time. But in your question paper, they only wanted you to calculate the earliest and the latest start time. But I have decided also to bring in how to calculate the latest start and the latest finish, as we may not know what they are thinking this year. So, for you to calculate the earliest start and the earliest finish, you are using what is called the forward pass calculation. But for us to calculate the latest start and the latest finish, we are using the backward pass calculation. So let's start first by the forward pass calculation. If we look at this project network, we want to know what will be the earliest start time for activity B and the earliest finishing time for activity B. I'm hearing some feedback. Okay, so if you want to comment, just raise your hand. I'll be able to unmute. Okay, so this activity B, what is the earliest time it can start? And what is the earliest time it can finish? Now remember that activity B depends on activity A. So if activity A is not completed, you can't start activity B. So the formulas are here. For the first task, which is activity A,
Hello, Sam.
okay. So what I was saying is, since this is the first activity, we assume that it will start at 0. So the earliest start, which is ES, is 0. But what is the earliest finish? The formula is here. Earliest finish is the earliest start plus the duration. How long will activity take? Then subtract 1. So for activity A, the earliest start is 0, ES is 0, plus the duration. we are told that you need to take 6 months to finish activity A. So 0 plus 6 minus 1, that is the earliest finishing time. So we are saying earliest start is 0 plus the duration of the activity 6 months minus 1. So the earliest finish for activity A is 5 months. So so once activity A finishes earliest at 5 months, you are able to start activity B immediately. So activity B earliest start is earliest finish for activity A plus 1. So the earliest finish for activity A is 5 months. Then we add 1, it gives us 6 months. So the earliest start for activity B is earliest finish A plus 1. So we are saying the earliest start for B is the earliest finish for A. The moment A finishes, then B starts. Are we able to make some sense out of this?
Yes.
So that's how we do the forward calculation. So when you look at this project, it had about 10, is it 10 activities? So you need to do all the 10 activities like that. Are we able to know how we calculated the earliest start for C? We said earliest finish for B plus 1.
B.
Yes, so that's how we found the 10. But what is the earliest finish for C? We are saying earliest finish for C is earliest start plus the duration for C minus 1. So the earliest start for C, we have calculated 10. And how many months do we need to complete activity C? Is 5 months. Subtract 1, we find 14 months. So the earliest start for C is 10 months, and the earliest finish for C is 14 months. Are we together?
Are we?
Yes. That's basically what is involved. So once you do that, this is how you are going to calculate the first part. You are told to calculate the following: the earliest and the latest start times. So we have learned how to calculate the earliest start. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So let's learn how to calculate the latest start. As I mentioned earlier on, for us to calculate the latest start and the latest finish, we used the backward pass calculation. So we can't calculate it here. And under the forward pass calculation, you can only calculate the earliest start and the earliest finish. Please take note. Then under the backward pass calculation, that is where we use, that's where we can calculate the latest finish and the latest start. There is this principle. If you look at this, If you look at this, I don't know what happens with this phone. It has started again. This phone, it has started again. Okay. If you look at this project here, the last activity is activity J. Now, in the last activity, the earliest finish is equal to the latest finish. That you just have to know. Now, since we calculated the earliest finish for activity J, the earliest finish is 43. That is the earliest finish. So it simply means the earliest finish is equal to the latest finish. So that is the formula you have here. For the last node, meaning the last activity, the latest finish is equal to the earliest finish. So once you do that, but remember that for other nodes, the latest finish for this activity, which is activity I, is equal to the latest start for the success activity -1. So when you go to this diagram here, you have to know which one is the predecessor activity and which one is the success activity. If you are at I, this is I, the successor activity is J, and the predecessor activity is F or H or G. Are we able to follow?
We are
Yes, sir.
following.
Okay. Okay. So this J here is the success activity. Is success activity for I. For I. But this H, F, and G are predecessor activity for I. And G activity for I.
True.
So for us to find the latest finish for I, okay, let's start with J. The latest finish for J, is equal to earliest finish. Meaning whatever figure we have found, either it is 32 or was it something? Or it was 43. Okay, so this is 43. Then the latest start for J. According to our formula here, is latest to finish J minus D. Is latest to finish J minus D. So we are saying the latest to finish for J is 43. 43 minus the duration. How many months do you need? We need 40, we need 3 months.
We need 40, we need 3 months.
So if we subtract, we find 40.
So if we find 40.
Any problem?
Need the simulation.
Yeah, it requires practice. Yes.
Yeah, it requires practice. Yes.
Yes.
So let's try.
So
Let's try I.
let's try I.
So if you look at the latest finish I,
So if you look at the latest finish I,
is the latest start for here.
it's the latest start for here.
Let's go back to our diagram here.
Let's go back to what I here.
This is F here.
This is F here.
Meaning, if you want to start the latest,
Meaning,
the
if you want to start
the earliest start for F
the earliest start for F
depends on the earliest finish for B.
depends on the earliest finish for B.
Is that correct?
Is that
Yes.
Yes. So the earliest finish for B will bring
so the earliest finish
earliest
for B
start for
will bring the earliest start for
So if F is to start early, we require B to finish early. So early finish B will be the same as latest early start F. Early finish B is equal to early start F. Just that reasoning. Then early start C depends on early finish A. If early finishes early, A finishes early, then C starts early. I hope that is clear now. Is that clear?
Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So we can proceed.
So we can proceed.
So you can practice other here, just the same principle. Okay?
Yeah,
Just know that the let finish G
just know that the
start
let's finish B. Let it start
H.
H.
Okay. So the next thing is I've just explained, told you to explain.
The next thing is told you to explain.
Okay. We need also to calculate the minimum completion time of the project. Again, this one, the answers are here. Because the maximum completion is 32. And the minimum completion is 24.
And the minimum completion is 24.
So you can just use this and you're able to find it.
So you just use this and you're able to find it.
Any comment, any question so far?
Any comment, any question so far?
Any questions or contribution?
on the calculations. Practice. So we need the much of practice.
Okay.
Maybe you take us through the other sections, then you. Yeah.
So other things, okay. So let's also look at B. B also, they wanted you to calculate the labor loading capacity. So all you need to do is to draw this table. Put the demand there and the available here, then over and under somewhere here. According to the question, we are told that on Monday, the demand was 32. And the available was 42. So we are able to find the over and the underload. 42 minus 32 is 10.
42 minus 32 is 10.
So you can do that throughout and you are able to find.
You can do that throughout and you are able to find.
Able to find the total at the end.
Able to find the total at the end.
Now the other component of the question is how do you level?
Now the other component of the question is how do you level
the resources?
The resources.
Okay, so if you look at this, you will find that we have deficit on Wednesday. But we have access on Monday and Tuesday. So we can balance, we can level our resource. If you get 10 from Wednesday on the demand and you push it to Monday, what will happen is Monday you are going to have 42. Then on Wednesday you remain with 47. Are we following?
Yes.
So if we have 42 on Monday demand and the available 42, then the over and the underload becomes 0.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So here, the over and the under becomes 5.
The over and the under becomes 5.
But still we have excess on Tuesday. So we can remove 5 from here and bring it to Tuesday. So Tuesday becomes what? 42. 42. Is it 42?
42. Is it 42?
What?
It's more on Tuesday.
What?
That access will be 52.
Exactly. So this becomes 50.
Exactly.
And
So
here
this becomes 52. And here.
So here the balance now becomes 0. And here
So
the
here
balance
now
becomes
0. And here the balance becomes.
We have done a resource leveling. Any problem so far? Is it okay?
Are we looking at?
Eh?
Is it okay?
I don't know, are you getting my question?
No, what's your question?
No. What's your question?
Question is to labor, we are looking at sitting and what is at hand or available. So everything, where is it coming? Are we not supposed to level on the forecast we meet what is demanded for? So that on what is available, if it is above the forecast, that's where we subtract to for the other side. I don't know, I'm a bit behind there.
It's either way.
It's either way.
If you go the other way that you have mentioned,
If you go the other way that you have
you are saying some of the workers who are supposed to
You
work
are
on
saying
Monday
some
must
of the
be moved
workers
to
who
come
are
and work on Wednesday.
Monday, must be moved to come and work on Wednesday.
Or the demand that you have on Wednesday, you can produce them on Monday.
That you have on Wednesday, you can produce them on Monday.
Is that okay?
Is that okay?
I'm still a bit behind. Okay, let's look at Monday.
Yes, this is
Look
Monday.
at Monday before you put you level it.
Yes, this is Monday.
Yes, before you level it on top, it was 32 on the demand, and the supply was 42 for the available. Meaning we had oversupplied stuff by 10.
On Monday. No. On Monday we are
Monday.
Yes, 32.
On Monday we are
32.
on Monday we are the 32 years.
on Monday we are the 32 years.
Okay.
The forecast or the demand.
Yeah,
Okay. So
yes.
So what?
yeah,
Yes.
So
So
you
now
have what?
where I'm seeing a shortage.
So you have what?
Come on.
Go on, sir. Go on.
Okay. So
Okay.
Okay. So
this demand, you have got less demand,
you have
but you have got more labor.
But I've got more labor.
Yes.
There are two ways that you can do. It's either you are going to get some works from Wednesday and give them to those that are working on Monday.
And give them to those that are working on Monday.
Okay.
Or you are going to remove some workers from Monday and
You are going
take
to
them
remove
to
some
Wednesday.
workers from Monday and take them to Wednesday.
Is that okay?
Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes. But the most ideal thing
But the most ideal thing
is to move work rather than moving workers.
is to move work rather than moving workers.
Because if these workers have made a team, they work their
Because if
42.
these workers have made a team, they work their 42.
And you get some of the members from this group and take
And you
them
get
here.
some of the members from this group and take them here.
You are likely to affect the morale and the team coordination.
You are likely to affect the morale and the team coordination.
So you better move works to this place.
Yes.
So you better move work to this place.
Not welcome. Yes.
Does that make sense?
Does that make sense?
So that's the approach you can go by.
So that's the approach you can provide.
We seem to have remained with 2 minutes according to the time that I booked. So we can end here.
So we can end here.
Unless if there are a question before we log out.
Unless there are questions before we log out.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it possible we can meet on Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday is possible. Yes, Sunday is possible. I don't know
Yeah,
what
Sunday is
time,
possible, yes.
so that I can plan for you.
I don't know what time. But I can plan for
When you will be free on Sunday, so that we are still in the same place, so we can encourage.
Okay, I think Sunday will be better. What I only want to look
Okay,
at
I think Sunday will be better. What I want to
is how to answer the questions. The questions are not difficult, but it's just a
answer
matter
the
of
questions.
how to address them, how to
Difficult,
confront
but
them.
how to address it, how to
Okay, let's plan for Sunday then, colleagues.
Okay, let's plan for Sunday, please.
What time?
I'll be able to confirm time probably by 9.
I'll be able to confirm time by 9.
Okay, sir.
We better do it in the morning because in the afternoon I have another session for some colleagues.
the morning.
The best is to do it in the morning.
I have another session for this morning.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you, Stadwell.
Okay.
I need this part. Very part of it. I just sent it. So I need this part.